What's going on, YouTube? Back at it with another video. Look, we got the most disturbing case of Nathaniel Barr, bro. December 15, 1999. Before we get into find out what happened on that day, I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, man. Let's try to get this video to at least 300 likes. And see where we get from there. Let's do it. Don't want to hold y'all too long in the intro. Let's get into it. On my granny. And I'm going right back to this side. Woke up. Bean.
15th, 1999, Great Falls police managed to get a search warrant for the most twisted person they were going to meet. Everything started to go haywire when they found a journal with codes. These were actually recipes with names like Little Boy Pot Pie, French Fried Kid, and Little Boy Stew. Police didn't know if these recipes were actual or fantasy, but they sensed something very disturbing had been in motion right under their noses. What was happening in the kitchen of that unkempt house? How did police end up at the disturbing case of Nathaniel Barr Jonah? 10-year-old Zachary Xerxes Ramsey, known as Zach, was a carefree and sociable child. His high spirits made him popular among his teachers, parents, and friends. He lived at 400 4th Street North and attended Whittier Elementary School.
Whittier?
The friend group would normally meet up before the bell rang to run around and play together before class. Unfortunately, those blissful childhood mornings would soon come to a tragic end. It was a cold winter morning on Tuesday, February 6, 1996. The morning chill of 7:30 a.m. had nothing on Zach and his friends. Zach wore a blue denim jacket with green sleeves, a blue football jersey with his last name imprinted on the back in gold letters, stonewashed jeans.
He like that kid that used to be in class that don't really fuck with nobody, but whenever you do, you find out that he really goofy as hell. Like, man, this nigga kind of cool. He's like, well, I didn't know if you was weird or not because you didn't really talk too much and people just talked about you. But this nigga actually cool as hell. And he do weird shit like, he do shit like, you know that little weird shit kids do? I don't know how to do it, but they do that weird. He do that.
Jeans and black high-top sneakers. The plan, as usual, was to gather outside school, play and chat before the bell rang. In his excitement, he almost forgot his lunchbox at home. Following his usual routine, Zach set upon to walk to school. However, that day would be far from routine.
Finna roll me a white boy.
Zach was well known in the Great Falls community. He never had anything to fear until that day. The streets were covered with snow, and he strolled along kicking around a little ball of snow. He then entered an alley that made his route shorter, even though his school was only 6 blocks away. It wasn't known whether he noticed a man sitting in the off-white 4-door sedan parked in the alley behind a house on the 400 block of 5th Avenue North. The engine idled quietly as the figure remained. Zach was a smart kid. It's safe to assume that, had he found something suspicious, he'd have changed his route. He was in an area which was well known to him. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. However, somewhere between where the alleyway cuts into 6th Street and comes out at 7th, Zach disappeared.
Just gone.
His friends waiting for him thought that he must have been sick and stayed at home. And in keeping with school policy, Zach's mother was called and notified of her son's absence. After looking for Zach with no success, his mother reported him missing. When the news reached the public, it became one of the biggest stories to ever hit the Great Falls community. A child having gone missing while en route to school shocked the public, who was not ready to believe the
any child abduction is gonna be big. Like if it's just like, damn, that nigga's son just gone. Yeah, the whole city finna be like, hold on, what? I just seen little buddy the other day, and he just gone. Yeah, we need to all get our pitchforks together and figure this out.
Worst. In 1995 and 96, Montana was seeing one violent crime every 6 hours and 30 minutes on average. The truth was, they had no idea yet about the darkness that had befallen their otherwise peaceful and happy community. An immediate and massive search for little Zach was set upon in Great Falls. The news opened into the world quickly, and hundreds of volunteers, law enforcement officers, and rescue teams joined. The focus centered around the area around the 400 block of 4th Street North, where Zach was
I
last
know that
seen.
shit's scary to know like your kid
During the
is gone.
search,
Like
investigators
it's
discovered
different like searching for your kid. You don't realize he down the street, and so you done call the police. Oh, where's my baby? He just at his cousin's house or something. But then to find out that your kid really gone is different, bro. Like he gone. Like we can't find him. Police can't find him. Nobody can find him, bro. That's scary. That is, man, that's immediate panic.
a pair of blue jeans and a blue denim jacket, which were believed to belong to Zach. The jeans were found in a dumpster near the alleyway where Zach disappeared, while the jacket was found in a nearby field. There were a number of interviews taken around the street Zach disappeared from. There were many witnesses who affirmed having seen a little boy with his attire. Others knew Zach by name and had seen him walking down to school that morning.
Yeah.
These accounts became increasingly more disturbing. There was a witness who remembered seeing Zach in the alleyway. To him, he looked like he was waiting for someone. A more disturbing account was from a family of 3 who lived in an apartment in the alleyway. They reported seeing Zach in the alleyway that morning and also reported seeing an off-white 4-door car nearly run him over.
Yeah.
Another witness who lived near the end of the alleyway reported seeing Zach crying with an upset, obese adult male following 2 feet
Yeah, that's
behind.
what I was sitting finna say. I'm like, man, everybody done seen him, but y'all ain't seen nothing else. Everybody saying they see him, but did y'all see a car, a man, or nothing, or something? Ain't no cameras around here, nothing.
Him at about 7:45 a.m. One person claimed to know the identity of the adult male following Zach. He saw this man in a navy blue police jacket taking out the trash. The witness also saw Zach turning into the alleyway while the man stood still behind the dumpster. He recognized this man to be Nathaniel Jonah, a man who had a disturbing crime record around children.
Oh, he been on the
To get to
children
Zach,
nasty
they needed
shit.
to know all about Nathaniel. Nathaniel was born on February 15, 1957, in Worcester, Massachusetts, as David Paul Brown to parents Philip Brown and Tyra Brown. He was the youngest of 3 children. As an infant, he seemed to be insatiable, always wanting more to eat. His muscles weren't fully developed.
So basically, he was a fully non-developed, retarded fat nigga. So he got bullied. He never had a girlfriend, never had that. So he preyed on kids, nasty motherfucker. That's all you is. You's a nasty fat man. That's all he is. Fat, pedophile, nasty man. Oh, but he just the kids, though. He ain't trying to rape no women, no nothing. He want kids. Little boys, little gay ass. That's crazy. He probably done told her, hey, I got an Xbox. You want a new Xbox? The new Fortnite coming out. I got an Xbox for you. Just meet me over here. I'll give it to you. And then kept that nigga. He should have kicked him in there. That nigga got weak bones. As a kid, you should have been kicking and moving. You would have got away from his fat ass. He got weak bones.
And being overweight had rendered him immobile. He also despised being touched. At merely 3 weeks old, he developed hydrocephalus, a condition in which extra fluid fills the brain cavities, pressurizing the brain and causing brain damage. He did eventually recover from this condition. By the time he was 3, the Brown family decided to move to Lantana in Florida. This was where Nathaniel spent the initial few years of his life. His father, Philip, was a heavy equipment mechanic at a local construction firm. He was also a strict disciplinarian, and Nathaniel was not an easy child. To add to it, Nathaniel had siblings that he was not particularly close with. He developed a habit of stealing from them and other children. Philip saw this thievery as kleptomania, a mental health disorder that makes one want to steal. Also, somehow he felt that the disorder had something.
Why white people always gotta put a diagnosis to something? He got mesolephilia. Okay, so them niggas that been robbing everybody down the street, they got mesolephilia too. Why they in jail? Go ahead and put them in the crazy home cause it's diagnosed. No, what the fuck? Niggas just wanna steal. You know right from wrong. You just wanted to do it. Cause you want to fucking steal. Ain't no diagnosed. The reason why he does it cause he has a stealing disorder. No, motherfucker. Stop touching people's shit that ain't yours.
Something to do with sexual orientation. He feared Nathaniel would grow up to be gay, because of which Philip would often discipline him with a thick leather belt. Whether it was the violence or the brain damage, or just how Nathaniel was born, he was turning out to be an extremely strange individual with some disturbing quirks. he was manifesting unpleasant psychological tendencies, like picking on his skin until it scabbed over, and then chewing on the wound until it bled.
Look at him. That nigga put lollipops in little kid booties and he lick it. He don't even like he just pulls it out. Was that fun? Like nigga, that no. This little kid's scared as shit. Talking about he look like one of them. That nigga would definitely touch your kid, bro. I'll slap the turkey out that nigga neck. I'll slap the turkey out this. I'll slap the turkey out that nigga neck. There ain't no fucking way.
He also didn't mind ingesting
There's
his own
people out here like
medication.
that right now around y'all kids, by the way.
The school found it to be a disturbing
safe.
sight, and his classmates were horrified by him. His mother was regularly called by the school about this habit, but she neither had any explanation, nor did she seem particularly disturbed by this strange, self-soothing behavior.
She was weird too.
In 1964, a few months after moving back to Worcester, he lured a girl into his basement with a promise of showing a Ouija board, which he had received as a gift. He used the same Ouija board to choke her. But the little girl's screams were heard, and Nathaniel's mother showed up before it was too late. The girl was released, and the matter was never discussed again. Nathaniel was mentally going somewhere there was no coming back from. In 1973, a second incident took place. Nathaniel wore a police-like jacket and composed a note made out of words using cutouts of magazines in an attempt to entice two boys from Webster to a cemetery. He offered the boys $20 and a surprise. However, the boys refused because they found him odd-looking. The mother of the two boys declined to press charges against Nathaniel. She believed he needed psychiatric help rather than the criminal.
He need help, nigga. He just tried to choke a little girl out with a Ouija board in the basement. That's all we need to see. I would have knew he need help as a kid whenever he was eating all the motherfucking shit up in the kitchen. Kids don't do that. Kids don't eat every motherfucking thing. Most kids be a little picky, like, I don't like that. I want this. I want McDonald's. I don't like nigga, you eating everything? Something ain't wrong with this nigga. Something wrong with this little nigga right now. Take him to the hospital. He likes everything. No, kids don't like everything. That's your first sign of a serial killer. A serial fat man molester killer. Because the motherfuckers like everything. Serial killers either like everything or they don't like nothing at all. Them motherfuckers is thrown off.
Justice system. This was a decision that would later haunt everyone, as now, whenever Nathaniel would don a police jacket, a child somewhere was in imminent danger. In late March of 1975, Nathaniel, now 18 and on the verge of dropping out of high school, spotted a boy walking to school. Dressed in his infamous police uniform, Nathaniel abducted a boy named Richard O'Connor. Luckily, a neighbor spotted this abduction and informed the police. A patrol car later spotted the vehicle used in the abduction in a parking lot. Backup was called. Nathaniel was ordered to get out of the car. There, in the car, lay Richard O'Connor on the verge of death, bloodied and in critical condition.
What?
He had also defecated and urinated on himself.
Oh yeah, he was finna die. He strangled the shit out of him. He doodled and pissed on himself. Yeah, he was scared of shit. And you know, right before you die, you doodle and pee. What? He was finna die. Punk ass.
Nathaniel was arrested right then and there, but released on probation later.
Probation?
During that time, he traveled to nearby Hartford, Connecticut.
Just to hurt somebody else.
There, he impersonated a police officer and abducted a girl. The girl, however, began to convulse and vomit during the assault, after which Nathaniel threw her out of the car by the sidewalk. A witness noted his car plate number, which led to his arrest. One might believe that with these two arrests, Nathaniel's menace was finally coming to a conclusion. However, this case is unlike any other. Despite being arrested for this assault, the information about it never reached Nathaniel's probation officer. He was released from parole in May 1976, marking the end of his probationary period. This release was handed over to Nathaniel with a thank you letter for his cooperation. If these arrests did anything for Nathaniel, they left him more unhinged. On September 24th, 1977, he spotted two boys who were exiting the white...
We shouldn't even, the video should be over by now. We shouldn't be able to be in 19. He did. No, this motherfucker should have been in 1977. He was doing 2 years, 3, 4, nigga. This man should be locked up under the motherfucking jail. You caught this man with 2 different kids, and he's been caught. And one of them was on the verge of dying, and the other one was vomiting because of the assault that he did. And you knew for like the town know. Oh, he's putting that police jacket on. Watch your kids. Like if that's known. What? If he was black, they would have been got him out of here. Man, they don't give a fuck if you black, they don't, or black Mexican. If you not white, we would have been fucked. Look, they living in White City. That's why. Look, god damn. Get your kids and get the fuck out of White City. They letting retarded fat people rape kids. They letting it happen. I promise you, they letting it happen. Get out of White City, man. This is crazy.
White City cinemas, laughing and having a good time in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. Nathaniel was now claiming to be an undercover FBI agent. Somehow, he convinced these boys to enter his vehicle. He took the car to a secluded area where he handcuffed the boys and began torturing them. Weighing 3,
what?
Where he handcuffed the boys and began torturing them.
That's wild, bro. What the fuck? Can't even look at this motherfucker face. Ugh.
Weighing 375 pounds, Nathaniel repeatedly jumped on the chest of one of the boys, only stopping when he thought he'd killed him.
Jumping on
After
his
leaving
chest?
the first boy on the side
This
of the
nigga's
road,
crazy.
he drove off with the other boys still alive and in his trunk. However, the boy that was left behind came to consciousness and found help. Within an hour or so, Nathaniel was found, as was the boy in the trunk. For this crime, for the first time, Nathaniel was going to get a serious punishment. He received the maximum sentence of 18 to 20 years at the Massachusetts Correctional.
Fuck. Look at this man's face. It ain't no way. It's no way y'all let this man just walk around. It's no way y'all let him impersonate a police officer and he ain't even get locked up in the past for that shit. Like, y'all let y'all kids around a motherfucker like this. I mean, y'all not letting them around there, but he getting them. Like, damn. That nigga look like he squeezed his nipples in the dark for no reason. Just like, yeah. The hell? He eat peanut butter cookies. It's some weird shit, man. He like just raw almond. No, it don't matter what it is.
Institution Concord. Now assigned to a prison psychologist, the current institution was found inadequate for Nathaniel after engaging in conversations where he listed deranged sexual fantasies. He was then transferred to the Bridgewater State Hospital, which was a state-operated treatment center for sexually dangerous offenders. He was to remain there for an indefinite term. On March 22, 1984, while still in prison, Nathaniel, whose legal name was David Brown, changed his name to Nathaniel Benjamin Levi Bar Jonah. However, whether this name change would reflect a change in his ways remained to be seen. He gave several explanations as to why he changed his name. One of these being that he wanted to know what it was like to be discriminated against and persecuted as a Jew. Later, he told someone that he was Jewish and he wanted his Jewish identity to reflect in his name, although his ethnic ancestry was Scandinavian, and that name was all the Jewish connection he ever had.
You ain't no Jew.
In that same year of 1984, Nathaniel won a parole hearing after 2 psychologists hired by the defense testified that he was no longer a threat to society.
If they let this man out, I swear
failed to bring enough evidence or testimonies to prove that Nathaniel was in fact dangerous and thus ineligible to roam free.
Hell yeah!
On February 12, 1991, Superior Court Judge Walter Steele ordered his release. However, issues related to administration delayed this release until July of that year. Despite the testimony from the psychiatrists hired by the defense, his assigned psychiatrists were confident that he still fantasized about abducting, murdering, and kissing children. One of the psychiatrists at Bridgewater was also informed by Nathaniel that his primary means of sexual arousal came from violent thoughts of torture that had long existed within him. However, Nathaniel was released back into the world, and within a month, it was clear all that had changed in Nathaniel inside of the prison was his name. On August 9th, 1991.
Why are y'all even letting motherfuckers out like this? It's niggas that's selling weed and they going to jail for 20 to 30 years and shit. And y'all letting motherfuckers that eat kids, rape kids. And I'm not talking about, oh, he just like little boys. No. That nigga stomp on your son's chest and then go kidnap your daughter and play in her coochie, then stomp on her chest and then do that to your granny. He don't like people. This nigga's crazy. He just couldn't get no... He ain't got no case with no adults because adults not fucking dumb. Like, nigga, we know you ain't no cop. I'm not getting in your car, weird ass nigga. Get out my face before I hurt you. And he can't do nothing because he's a weak motherfucker. So he prey on kids, bro. Y'all let this man back out so he can hurt another motherfucking kid. Why y'all ain't kill this man? Why y'all ain't, if y'all didn't want to kill him, why y'all ain't just lock him up forever? Why y'all ain't just leave him in the state hospital? Y'all ain't think about that? Get a nigga surgery jacket for life till he's gone. System is so fucked up, bro. This system is so fucked up. Nigga, they got old people locked up in jail right now because they ain't pay a fine. And niggas got to go there a couple years and shit. But it's motherfuckers out here raping and killing and eating kids. Eating kids? This shit is crazy.
Outside of a post office in Oxford, Massachusetts, a boy sat alone in a car. Nathaniel saw an opportunity and entered the vehicle. Nathaniel, who was now 300 pounds after a stint in prison, sat on the boy's chest. As soon as the mother caught this sight, she ran.
What the fuck? He want to kill that bad that he driving down the street was like, oh my God, she left her kid in the car. I'm finna walk in there and sit on this nigga chest till he died. Big ass fat nigga. What? Imagine you walk up to your car and a big fat nigga sitting on your daughter's chest and she's like, You're like, what the fuck? And he got the door locked and he's just doing it till she died. You can't get in. Like, what the hell? What the hell?
Ran towards the car. This prompted Nathaniel to flee the scene, although he was recognized by law enforcement and arrested later. He confessed that he intended to kill him. In exchange for a guilty plea to assault and battery, Worcester County District Attorney offered a 2-year probationary period. He was also ordered to move back to Great Falls, Montana, where his mother lived. Nathaniel was on the loose once again.
What the fuck?
Perhaps what was more astonishing was the fact that he was asked to move to Montana by Massachusetts officials as if it was a solution.
Like that's gonna make it better.
However, for the next few years, Nathaniel seemed to slip under the radar.
I think we need to rally up and hurt this nigga ourselves. Because it don't make no sense that he keep getting justice. Like he keep getting out and he get, all right, just go over there, weirdo. We just don't want you here hurting our kids. Huh? What the fuck? But y'all locking niggas up because they ain't got insurance on their car? It's, man, I don't get the world, bro. I do not get this shit at all.
Until after Zach's disappearance. This case was assigned to Detective Bill Bellucci. He was given a list of sex offenders in the region, which did not include Nathaniel. However, Detective Bellucci decided to ignore this list and keep his focus on Nathaniel, as he was seen in the alleyway by several witnesses. Detective Bellucci requested multiple search warrants for the property where Nathaniel and his mother lived together, but they were all denied. Nathaniel, meanwhile, moved out of his mother's home. For the next 3 years, it became a cat-and-mouse game between him and Detective Bellucci. Despite Nathaniel's long criminal history, he managed to exploit loopholes within the legal system, evading appropriate consequences. However, Bellucci operated outside the conventional system, recognizing individual elements and identifying Nathaniel as an exceptional case.
Like all this right here, all this, you know, look in here, we're trying to detect this and get at how he looks and stands. That shit's pointless. You don't need none of that. Grab this nigga by his back of his neck, put some cuffs on this nigga, lock him up. Y'all got every evidence y'all need. Y'all physically seen him do the shit. Y'all seen this nigga get caught in different states. He been in jail before, got out, did the shit again, and y'all just like, well, send him with his mom. Huh? This ain't elementary school. The hell? Send him with his mom. Let's get this nigga. You know, kill him. It's people like that that don't need to be alive, bro. I know God got everybody here for a reason, but his reason is through. We need to get rid of him. He was an example of what we don't need to have. I think that's his reason. Get him gone, man. For real.
Identifying Nathaniel as an exceptional case. Although Nathaniel lacked a record of actual murder, he had come dangerously close to it on multiple occasions. On December 13th, 1999, Bellucci, who'd kept a keen eye on Nathaniel, spotted him outside an elementary school for the third time in a week. For the last 3 years, Bellucci had believed that Nathaniel would strike again, and Bellucci was justified in his concern. During these visits to the local elementary school, Nathaniel wore a dark blue jacket and a knit cap and carried 2 cans of pepper spray, a toy gun, and a badge. Bellucci acted decisively, seizing the opportunity to charge Nathaniel with impersonating an officer and carrying a concealed weapon. On December 15th, 1999, a judge approved a search warrant for objects used to impersonate officers at both Nathaniel's mother's home and his own. This was not a search warrant for violent crimes, but it was all Bellucci needed. While searching Nathaniel's home, police found items both expected and unexpected. There were items that aided Nathaniel in impersonating a law officer. There were a couple of coats, one dark blue and another with a toy badge in the pocket, a second toy badge, a stun gun, and a baseball cap reading Security Enforcement. However, the search took a dark turn when investigators discovered a pull string emerging from the ceiling of Nathaniel's kitchen. 2 albums were found with cutouts of children, as well as a document about knots and bondage, and an article entitled Autoerotic Asphyxia.
Autoerotic asphyxia.
With a little more scrutiny into Nathaniel's whereabouts, detectives discovered that he'd not gone to work on February 6, 1996, the day of Zach's disappearance, nor the days leading up to it. On that day, his mother had accompanied his brother to another town to attend a funeral. However, her car, an off-white 4-door 1978 Toyota Corolla, remained with Nathaniel. Given the discoveries made, Bellucci was granted another search warrant within 2 days of the first one. During the second search in the house, amongst newspaper clippings from Zach's case, police found a strange list entitled Lake Webster with the names of 54 boys.
54?
It went all the way back to Nathaniel's first victims from Massachusetts,
Damn,
including the
bro.
names of the 3 boys.
He got pictures with the kids he was killing? Fuck. That nigga looked like he'd touch your kids, though. Like, it's crazy how some people look like the shit they gonna do, so you judge them off that, and it's right. Like, if a motherfucker look like a rapist, 9 times out of 10, he probably a rapist. He just ain't raped yet. If he look like he'd touch your kids, or she look like she'd touch your kids, she probably gonna touch your kids. If no motherfucker look like a crazy bitch, she probably a crazy bitch. I know guys say don't judge nobody, but you gotta judge people so you can survive. You gotta judge people so you know how to handle certain motherfuckers. Now don't judge them and just disrespect a motherfucker like, you're a fat bitch, you're not gonna get shit done. That's judging. That's fucked up. Cause that fat bitch could be the best singer and get a whole lot of shit done. You know, she could be the one motherfucker that don't ever get tired. That's different. But you gotta judge motherfucker. They look like they touch your kids, and they could judge them off that. Like, no, nigga, I ain't gonna have him around like that. That nigga might actually do it.
He assaulted in the 70s. The last entry was Zachary Ramsey, and it was followed by the word died. And it didn't stop there. 3,500 photographs of children and undeveloped film containing images of Nathaniel and 3 unidentified boys were also recovered. There were some journals with arbitrary characters that looked like some sort of coded writing. These were immediately taken in to be reviewed at a later date. Nathaniel's roommates were interviewed. One former roommate described having seen clothes that matched Zach's clothing that he was last seen in. He'd also found some bloodied gloves. In a conversation with another roommate, Nathaniel mentioned Zachary Ramsey without much context. At one point, he even claimed that Zach would never be found because he'd been dismembered and scattered across different locations. A month later, the code in the journal found at Nathaniel's home was cracked. It was a cookbook, but the recipe's names indicated Nathaniel's worst fantasies had already taken shape. The titles of the dishes had a disturbing pattern, with names like Little Pot Pie, French Fried Kid, and Little
French Fried
Stew.
Kid, Little Boy Stew, Little Boy Pot Pie. He just killing these kids, chopping them up and eating the fuck out of them. And it's just crazy because the government failed us, bro. Like, failed all these kids and their parents. Like, the first one, I get it. That's just it. Who knows when it's gonna start. You know, the first one, that's just a tragic thing. But nigga, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the little girl, all that shit, that should have never happened. Cause he should have been locked the fuck up off the first one for good. That shit. They talking about, well, he got disabilities. This motherfucker can drive a car. If you can drive a motherfucking car and legally can do it, you got a license. You ain't got no this nigga. No, you don't get to go to the state hospital. You don't get the insanity deal. You take your ass to big boy prison and get big boy raped. Cause since you want to fuck with little boys, that's crazy. That's crazy as fuck. I feel so bad for their family, bro.
Finally, police found a large, stained section of plywood in Nathaniel's garage, which was scrubbed with bleach and also struck several times with a meat cleaver, as if it had been used as a cutting board. A luminol test in the room revealed that the word Tita had once been written on the floor in blood. This was tentatively linked to James Tita, a boy who was found and strangled in Wren Ridge, New Hampshire in 1973. It was learned that in the days after Zach's disappearance, Nathaniel had cookouts for his neighbors in which he served deer burgers that tasted strange. Nathaniel claimed that he'd hunted, killed, butchered, and wrapped the meat personally. However, Nathaniel didn't own a gun or a hunting license, and credit card records suggested that he stopped buying food for a month after Zach disappeared. Finally, what looked to be human hair was found inside his meat grinder. An excavation at a former residence uncovered 21 bone fragments belonging to a boy between 8 and 13 years old. The house's pipes couldn't be examined because they'd been replaced due to constant clogging issues. DNA from the hair and bones belonged to 2 different African-American males, neither of whom was Zach. These bones have never been identified. Almost all of his life, Nathaniel...
How the fuck y'all identify every other kid, but y'all can't identify the 2 black people? It's because y'all didn't give a fuck that they ate the 2 black people. The hell? Unless them bitches was just grinded up too damn fine, but then you wouldn't even known it was bones. Like... The police fucking suck, bro. Like, y'all niggas suck ass, nigga. Like, y'all had every chance to get this dude. Y'all let this motherfucker destroy so many lives. This motherfucker, a fat ass, a motherfucker that can't really run across the street, destroy so many lives, bro. That's crazy work. And then they start finding shit, and you like, oh, well, we can't identify it. Like, yes, you can. Y'all know y'all can find the smallest piece of a fossil, and you know exact type of dinosaur it was and when it died and how long it lived and everything. But you can't find out who that man is from that bone. But you done figured out everything else. Come on, man. They family needs some reinsurance too. Shit.
Had hunted like a leisurely activity, but when it came to legal proceedings and trial, it came down to just 3 children. Zach's case had caused the most uproar, and it could have been the catalyst that brought Nathaniel down. However, Zach's mother refused to believe that her son was dead. Was it denial, stemming from the inconceivable pain associated with the emerging truth, or perhaps encouragement from the defense team? The world would never come to know that.
He gone, girl.
Her refusal, however, hindered any closure to Zach's case. She didn't believe Nathaniel was in any way related to Zach's disappearance because a psychic convinced her that Zach was living in Italy. In fact, she threatened to defend Nathaniel if he was brought to trial for her son's murder. Eventually, the charges related to Zach's disappearance had to be dropped due to a lack of evidence. Police and prosecutors who had worked hard in recent years to nab Nathaniel had only one option: to focus on other possible victims and to do it quickly. Two names in the list found at Nathaniel's home belonged to the boys who lived in the same apartment building as him. These boys also appeared on film that had been seized from Nathaniel's home.
Damn,
One of the boys confirmed that Nathaniel invited them to a sleepover and then molested them. But the other boy visited Nathaniel in jail and wrote to him, saying that he was his friend and that he never harmed him. This predator and sexual deviant was almost in the folds of the judicial system, and everyone would be able to see him for exactly who he was. But once again, the case was falling through the cracks of legality. 36-year-old Mary Patrone, who was just a girl when she was assaulted by Nathaniel, recognized him in a blink. However, the statute of limitations had expired, and Nathaniel couldn't be charged with this offense. Despite numerous failures by the judicial system in the past, Nathaniel was subsequently sentenced to 130 years in prison without the possibility of parole on the charges of kidnapping, aggravated assault, and sexual assault of various. In 2008, Nathaniel was found unconscious in his prison cell due to a heart attack. He'd been in poor health for some time, and on this day, he was pronounced dead. He took many horrifying secrets to the grave.
Fuck off.
Instead, he'd been in poor health. Nathaniel was found unconscious in his prison cell due to a heart attack.
This nigga died from a heart attack. How the hell he get away so easy? Oh my God. God must have been like, yeah, you finna get out again, so I'ma just take you. Heart attack. This nigga didn't get to suffer. He didn't get to have a bad life. He didn't get like nothing. I mean, he probably in hell, so that's probably the ultimate. But who knows if he's even there? He probably just got reincarnated. We don't know how that shit really worked. Like, damn. I hope God didn't bring this nigga soul back. We don't need it. We don't need another one of him. We ain't getting nothing. We ain't learning nothing by having him here. Ain't nothing good coming out of this dude.
He'd been in poor health for some time, and on this day, he was pronounced dead. He took many horrifying secrets to the grave. Nathaniel's case can be attributed to a number of factors, including inadequate communication and information sharing. For instance, his probation officer didn't know of his other crime in 1977. In 1999, one would expect the process might have changed. However, a Montana court was not aware of Nathaniel's crimes in Massachusetts. The system failed to understand Nathaniel's pattern of behavior and thus failed to handle the situation. Lack of awareness directly led to the atrocious abuse of many children over the span of decades. Despite the objections of Zach's mother, a judge declared Zachary Ramsey legally dead in 2011. However, if Zach's mother was right and he's still alive somewhere, he would be in his 30s and look like this. Nathaniel was a predator and possibly even a criminal, yet he was allowed to walk free again and again. The fact that he served 11 years in a mental institution and assaulted again within a month of release was overlooked.
That's crazy, bro.
Do you think that contemporary systems are equipped to effectively address such situations? Or are there still individuals slipping through systemic loopholes?
It's like he did his 11 years, cool, bet. Now just transfer him to prison. Don't transfer him back home. And y'all, and they said they knew he was having the signs that he still was going to do it again. He was going to. Why let him out? Fuck. Damn. Once again, the laws suck and failed us again. The system failed us again. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of this video. I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. Stick with me to the next video, man. Y'all have a good week, a good night, and make sure y'all get your ass in the shower. Wash that ass. Peace.